A friend of mine told me once, he said, you don't just have accidents, you make accidents. And it struck me so hard that even today, years later, that's what I hear in my head. When I'm putting a glass of water too close to an edge, I hear, accidents are made. When I'm rushing and I don't take the time to see that patch of ice, accidents are made. And I find that it's the same thing with anxiety and stress. We continuously contribute to our own anxiety and stress. And I see this especially with fellow creators. I've seen it in me, and as I work through what are those points of friction in my life and how can I reduce them, it's become part of how I work with other people who want to create and that I'm helping to create. Because if you become aware of those points of friction, you can become aware of your own hang-ups and addictions to drama, your own ways of creating discomfort and anxiety, then you can finally reduce that. You can choose not to have that in your life. And it can be as simple as respecting the time you've set aside for yourself to write or to paint. It can be as simple as saying no to going to the pub with your friends and deciding to fuel yourself creatively instead and maybe wait till the weekend. It's as simple as going to bed on time and making sure you're getting enough sleep, because more and more we know it's been proven that sleep deprival is equivalent to being drunk. So some people, some artists I know, do seem to do well under pressure, and they find that stress and anxiety is what fuels them, what inspires them to write or to create. And that's all well and good when you first start creating, because I do see that that was the case when I was in my early 20s, but it's not sustainable. And so once you have been creating for a couple of years, it's a question of figuring out, how can I create when I'm well? How can I create from a place of happiness? How can I create from a place of well-being? And I think that's when you really get to what's authentic and true and what contributes to the world being a better place. That's not to say that all art will be happy and the artistic production will all be happy, but I find that it'll be more grounded, it'll be bigger than yourself, and that energy that flows through that art will just be that much more magical. And the energy that flows through that art will be all the more poignant, the more impactful, because it's being created with your full being, not your being under stress, not your being in fight or flight. So I love to look at where I am, to be able to see where the points of friction are, and to be able to eliminate as many points of friction as possible in order to create within a space where I am just a vessel for all of those ideas, and I'm able to receive that creativity. With the whole movement, the online movement of pushing us to think positively and just have good thoughts and all that, I think we're missing a crucial element. And that is honesty, true honesty with ourselves. Because if you're not honest with yourself, the whole well-being and positive thinking movement gets transformed into this toxic cesspool where you are not able to advance in your artistic expression because you're not being honest about where you're at. So just as much as that voice telling you that you're a piece of shit and you're horrible and everything you make is trash and it's all horrible, just as much as that voice is not useful and it's destructive, if you have the opposite voice saying, oh, I just have to visualize everything and it'll all be magically fantastic, without having the tools, without understanding that, hey, maybe you're a little pitchy and you should take a singing class, or maybe you should take another guitar class because, yeah, you could vary your strumming patterns a little more so that it's not always the same song you're writing. I think it's very important to just stay factual and to look at where you are and have a true assessment of that. And it doesn't just apply to your artistic skills, it also applies to where you're at in terms of your health, your mental, spiritual, your physical health, your financial health. Because the more that's in balance, the more you are able to receive that creativity, because you're not concentrating on surviving, you can concentrate on creating and thriving.